It's time. Double game week time. That's right. Today, we had the moment all FPL managers wait for pretty much all season. We all start talking about double game weeks at the start of the season. 25 weeks later, or 24 weeks later, 23 gone. Coming up to game week 24. We can now talk about them. We've had one announced. For anyone that doesn't know, I made a video about it earlier if you want to check that out after the stream. But essentially, Man City and Everton double game weeks have been announced. So the big news is that Man City are going to play twice in game week 25, so are Everton. Everton will play Man City and Wolves at home. Man City will play Everton away and Arsenal at home. So not the most appealing double game week ever, but a nice mini one to start us off before we get into the proper ones. So we're going to chat a little bit about that, I'm sure. I put up 4 polls, I think. Only 4. How many double game weeks players are you aiming for? We're already asking that, even though it's not till next week, but we've got to start planning now. Your game week 24 captain. Obviously, there's still a little bit to talk about this week. It's not just about double game weeks, but it will be soon. Are Man City players worth using your triple captain on? So already lots of people discussing that. And then are you looking at HIGUAIN? Obviously, I made this stream thumbnail. But yeah, excited about the double game weeks. 3 weeks for Mendy, it could be. Am I getting Son back? So I want Son. The thing with Son, I don't have an easy way to get him, to be honest. I've already, before this news dropped today, I worked out that I could do Alonso to a £4.8 million defender and Richarlison to Son. But Richarlison's got a double game week, so I'm definitely going to keep him now. So Son basically gets put to the back of the pile because I just have other stuff to do. I'm not going to get rid of Sané. Pogba's in really good form. Not going to get rid of Salah. And Hazard, I'm going to give him at least one more game week. So it looks like Son might get rushed straight back in just because Spurs not having a good time right now. Loads of injuries and stuff. But obviously once he is back and playing and Kane's not there, so he's going to play up front, I do want Son at some point. This double game week is shockingly bad. I don't know if it's shockingly bad. I mean I never said to sell Sané, although some people took the tweet that way, but I was kind of saying that after Newcastle it was 2 top 16s for Man City plus a blank. But people did keep tweeting me saying it's Arsenal, they're going to smash them, they'll score loads of goals against Arsenal. You think they do the same against Everton as well. So for Man City, it's a pretty good double game week. Obviously, you'd prefer 2 really weak teams and at home. So, like a Huddersfield and Brighton or whatever it might be. But that's not to be. We just got to take what we get given. I think Arsenal and Everton is okay, just because it's Man City. If it was a different team, maybe I wouldn't be so happy about it. And obviously Everton, I feel like Everton's is basically Wolves plus 2 appearance points. So, I mean, it's enough to keep Richarlison. Obviously, if you've got Lucas Dean, you're going to keep him. But I'm not sure I'd be looking anywhere else in that Everton team. And I'm not sure I'd be buying their players if I didn't already own them. Given they got that blank and they're in pretty poor form at the moment. Jota in. I mean, Jota... Basically, this always happens around double game week and blank times. By the way, someone should do a counter for how often I say blank or double game week. I bet it'd be quite high. I forgot what I was even going to say. Yeah, Jota comes under the kind of same thing with Son that I looked at Richarlison to Jota. I've looked at Richarlison to Son, how I can fund that. But I'm going to keep him. I don't know. It will go against everything I believe in if I transferred out a player before they have a double game week. It just wouldn't feel right. So I've got to keep him. Would I do Eriksen for Sané this week? I don't think I'll do it this week. I think this week is it's a pretty good week to try and save a transfer if you can. Obviously, you don't have to. There's lots of moves to be made. Like someone tweeted me earlier saying they were looking at bringing Rashford in this week. I think that's still a really good transfer. Obviously, if you've got room to bring in Jota, that's a good transfer too. He looks on form, playing up front for Wolves. So there are some good moves to make. But Eriksen out this week, I'm not sure that's the one to be doing. Let me just double check the fixture, but I think it's pretty good. I could have it completely wrong. Yeah, Watford at home. I think I wouldn't take out Watford at home for Newcastle away, even with Sané. Obviously, you probably want Sané the week after, but you can just make that move the week after. See what happens. Maybe there's a big injury or something. Maybe you want to take someone else out instead. If you could know for 100% that Sané would play both full 90s in both games in Game Week 25, would I triple captain him? Yeah, probably. I'm considering triple captain him anyway. I think I'm just starting to get my head around all this double and blank game week malarkey, and I do like the idea of the free hit in the first double game week and then the wild card for the second, but that does mean I don't have... Unless Chelsea, which is possible, but I think it would take a lot of cup runs for them. Unless Chelsea get another mini double game week somewhere, there's probably not going to be another opportunity to use my triple captain if I use free hit and bench boost in the 2 double game weeks in 32 and 35. So I'd have to use my triple captain either outside of a double game week, which just doesn't appeal. I just can't do that. That's not me. Or I use it in this week, and it probably would be Sané. I think Sané's as good as any of them for playing twice, and I couldn't put it on a defender or goalkeeper. Just wouldn't feel right. Hazard and Higuain. Someone did tell me to stop saying the H. Just another player I have to learn. Try and nail it. Do I think Hazard and Higuain will be deadly? I mean, let's wait and see. I think I didn't see the Chelsea game today. I tweeted out what did he play like, Higuain that is. got mixed reactions. Some people said he played rubbish. Other people said they liked his movement. He creates space, which would be good for Hazard. And you'd hope he'd be more clinical than Morata when it comes to Hazard kind of assist potential. So I don't know if they're going to suddenly set the world alight. But I feel like it can't get any worse there at the moment. And they haven't been playing well the last couple of weeks in particular. So I don't have too many hopes about it. I haven't got my hopes up, let's say, but I think there could be something there. And Bournemouth away and Huddersfield at home are two fixtures, decent enough fixtures that you could get good points in from both. Jota passes the eye test. Do his stats back up the eye test? Yeah, they're pretty good, his stats, actually. I think I mentioned them in the preview. Underlines. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they're decent enough. They're much better than Richarlison, even Hazard. Higuain's been dead since 2016. 1 goal in 14 for AC Milan. Yeah, but now he's at Chelsea. Raring to go. Another chance. Going into the double with 3 City and 2 Everton. Ooh. Not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. I guess it's good. Especially 3 City. I mean, most people are going to have at least 1 Everton. They're going to have Richarlison or they're going to have Lucas Digne. If not both. And a lot of people were obviously looking at getting rid of Richarlison, me included. Not anymore. When can I use triple captain? You can use it any week you want. That's not the way you're not using another chip. BBC had HIGUAIN as top of the player range. Decent. How will my team look like for Gameweek 25 as things stands? I mean, without this is going to make me sound like a bit of a dick. I don't intend it to, but it'll pretty much look like this team. Obviously, I'll have, if I don't use a transfer this week, which I'm not planning on doing, then I will have 2 free transfers. So I would have to use one, and it'd be pretty tempting just to bring in another double game week player. So it would probably be Alonso to a Man City defender, or Hazard to Sterling. Obviously, Hazard will have Huddersfield at home, so a bit of a punt. Not a punt, actually. Punt's the wrong word. I don't even know if risk is the right word. Hazard with 1 game versus Sterling with potentially 2. And you'd think Sterling and Sané, good chance of coming off the bench, even if they don't start one of the games. So one of those 2 moves would probably be the one for me. So yeah, Alonso to a Man City defender. Probably have to be Laporte though. That's the only thing which I don't necessarily like. And then I just don't know. I don't think Laporte is necessarily that exciting. Yes, he could get a goal, but obviously you'd want Mendy if he was fit and in form and playing. But yeah, Alonso has it out potentially before Huddersfield at home. But that's what double game weeks do to you. If I've got 2 free transfers, then I would definitely make a move for a double game week player, and then try and hold the other one. I mean, maybe I'll do Alonso and Hazard out to Sterling and a Man City defender. For free, I could get behind that, but definitely not unless there's any news over the next couple of days. Definitely not transferring out any of my players this week. What's my best triple captain score? I feel like you know the answer to that. That's why you're asking me. I've been very bad with the triple captain. I think there's been three triple captains. It's been in there 3 years. There was Andy Carroll, where he got 1 point for me, I think it was. That tripled to 3. I had Aguero last year, which was 9, tripled to 27. And... or was it Sterling 9? Or did I do Sterling last year and Aguero the year before? Either way, I don't think I've ever got over 9 with it. Very bad. Hazard should be pronounced Azar. Sticking with Hazard. For now. Why not Kevin De Bruyne? Well, did I go for Kane last year? What did he get last year? I can't even remember. He didn't get more than 9 though. Pretty sure. Number of Man City Everton players in my game. No more than 4. Let's say that. Did Kane just get 1 point? Wait, wasn't Kane... No, but that was the ill one. I didn't triple captain him. I saved it for later. I can't remember who I put it on. I think it was Sterling. He only played 1 game. No, I didn't put it on Kane because everyone else did, but he was ill. Like he said, he was ill. Yeah, I put it on Sterling last year. It was Aguero the year before and Sterling last year. And he only played one game. I hate that chip. Yeah, 3-pointer for Sterling. Clean sheet, I think. I would advise against wildcard right away and wait for a later double game with more teams playing. Oh yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be wildcarding right now if that's what you mean. Not unless your team is in completely awful shape. The one thing to say is, the way the FA Cup has kind of gone so far, those that have used their chips to sort their teams out for now, and obviously we always get lured into double game week and blank chat, but obviously there are game weeks outside of that to master, so to speak. So people have wildcarded obviously to get their team sorted for now. But the way the FA Cup's kind of going so far, there's actually, it's not necessarily easy for those that don't have their chips, but it's easier because of the way it's fallen. So it looks like for Premier League teams, you've got Man City, Man United, Watford, Chelsea and Palace in the FA Cup 5th round. And then potentially Brighton or Wolves, depends on whether they win their replays. So you could have 7 teams in there. Obviously, they could get drawn together, so that could be more out. And they've got to get through the 5th round before we get any more blanks confirmed. So, I mean, you'd expect City, United and Chelsea to go through, but on their day, like Watford, Palace, Brighton or Wolves, you know, any of them, even the 3 teams, even City, United and Chelsea, could mess it up. So we'll see. It could be that there's not actually many blanks in double game weeks at all. But you'd imagine there'll be a few, especially for the big teams. I mean, what I'd love, maybe I'll just sack bench boost off and triple captain a Man United player. What about that? Will Son play on Wednesday? Look, we'll have to wait until Pochettino's press conference if he has another one. Or, excuse me, before midweek. I don't know. I actually think he might get rushed back. Just because of how kind of bad nick their team is in their squad. But there's definitely no way to know for sure. Does Spurs form deter you from Son? No, maybe a little bit, but I think the fixtures are there. Eriksen, hopefully still fit and playing. So, I mean, they're missing Ali and Kane, which is obviously a big miss. But I think Son can fill in for Kane, so then it's really just Ali. I suppose Sissoko as well. I'm not sure how long he's out for. It wouldn't put me off, because of Son's price. Do you know what I mean? If it was Ali and Eriksen out and you had Kane for 12.5 million or whatever, then yeah, I'd probably be a bit worried. But Son's price is so good that he can quickly return on that price. So I don't think he would deter me. Plus, he's a legend. Yeah, lots of people obviously think that Son will play just because they're kind of screwed. Jimenez for Richarlison and play 3 up top. That doesn't make that... I mean, I guess that sounds like a hit. But he sounds like you're taking Richarlison out. Not sure about Richarlison out. Not before the double and not for Jimenez. What's up, Ian? Yes, FPL is interesting right now. I mean, it's always interesting-ish. But definitely very interesting right now. Who is the best, Salah or Hazard? Salah. Kamara plans. Yeah, Kamara looks like he's probably not the greatest option right now. Maybe that's an understatement. But my plan is just to keep him till a wildcard. I don't want to waste a transfer on it. I don't really have money in the bank to transfer him out. I've got Wan-Bissaka and Schiller that are going to play. So Kamara, get out of here. Just stay on the bench. Kamara with the under-23s. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a bit for him to get back into the team if he doesn't leave. Has the Jota hype stopped? I think it's only stopped because of the double game week news, to be honest. I still think he's a pretty popular transfer. Opinions on keeping Ryan Fraser. So, the good thing about Bournemouth is they've got no blank game weeks. So, obviously at some point, if you've got wildcards and stuff, you'll probably want to load up on a few more double game week players. But if you don't, then Fraser with none helps you navigate the blanks. And they've got some pretty tough fixtures coming up until about game week 29 or 30, I think it was, off the top of my head. And then they've got a pretty nice run in. So I would be tempted to keep him. Especially if you can, if you've got a squad where you could bench him every now and again for the really tough fixtures. Thoughts on Hazard Sterling game in 25? Yeah, I think that's one that I'm looking at, and I think there's a chance that Sané and Sterling both play in both games. You'd imagine they at least start one, and they've had a bit of rest as well recently, so I don't think that's necessarily needed. And obviously, the one thing that not many people have spoken about, I saw someone tweeting about earlier. I want to say it was Lego Mane. One of the Fantasy Football Scout mods. I could be wrong, but I think he was kind of saying the good thing for Man City having this fixture pushed back or pushed forward to now is that will give them a chance to close the gap on Liverpool to just 1 point. Obviously they're bringing a game forward that should have been played in game in 27, so Liverpool will have a game in hand, but still psychologically you go from 4 points to 1 point ahead. Maybe that'll have an effect on the players. I don't know how much to read into that, but you think Pep's going to absolutely want to go for it, especially against Arsenal as well. So I think there's a chance that Sané and Sterling play both, but Mahrez is always there, knocking on the door. And I wouldn't obviously sit here and guarantee that either will play both. I would never be that confident. You have a plan that does not include City players till game week 28 and do not think the double game week is appealing enough to change that. Do I think it's too big of a risk? I mean, I suppose it depends on your rank, but you've got to imagine that, Sané and Sterling are going to be probably the biggest captains that week. So if one of them plays both games or starts both games, that could be a big score. So I would be a little bit worried. If you're happy to do that, at the end of the day, they are going to play Chelsea after that and then a blank as well. So it's not like they've got the best fixtures after the doubles. So I don't think, if you've got no Man City players, I'm not sure it's worth kind of bringing in 3 over the next couple of weeks. But 1 or 2, I think so. For me, anyway. That's just how I like to play the game, though. If you're happy enough to go without it, do it. The risk is obviously there because they will be highly, highly captained. And they will be, if not this week, next week, they'll be the highest transferred in players, you'd imagine. So if I bring in a City player next week, then free hit the week, the City playing Everton and the Everton and City aren't playing, then wildcard when Chelsea have the double game, would that work? Yes. That sounds like it would work. It depends how you want to. There's loads of different ways you can navigate the end. That is something you could do. But obviously later on in the season, you might want to use those chips in a different way. Just noticed the tight and crispy haircut and beard. We've come a long way since Movember. Yeah, Movember, not great. Not great for the look. It's not great at the best of times, but Movember was considerably worse. If you get Sterling and a City defender, you'll have 5 players, including Kamara, who won't play in game week 27. Yeah? But I can take some hits to sort that out. Obviously, Kamara is a bit of an issue, I suppose, because I don't ever really want to upgrade him, so I'd just be transferring him out for someone at a similar price. But what I did look at is I could do Hazard and Kamara. Right now I can do it. I don't know... I don't know if I'll still be able to afford it by game week 27, but who knows what... by that point, I would have probably got rid of Alonso. I could do right now Hazard and Kamara to punch in at Huddersfield. No blank for the rest of the season. 4.2 million, so very cheap. So do Hazard and Kamara to punch in and Aubameyang. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Aubameyang... Yeah, Man United play Liverpool in game week 27, so I'm not even going to want to captain Salah. So Arsenal play Southampton. So, depending on what happens with the Chelsea double game week, I might look at doing that. Switching Hazard to Aubameyang and basically playing 3-4-3 again. And getting in Punchin, who's going to play in that game week as well, against Newcastle. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking with those 2 players. Obviously, that still leaves me with potentially Richarlison, Sané, and another Man City player. But at that point, those three could be benched if I wanted to go that way. So that's what I'm looking at. And again, that was even something I considered this week before the double game week announcement. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on with Lacazette and Aubameyang at the time. Unless Chelsea get a double game week 25, still possible. Still possible, but unlikely, yeah. Best thing is to do is wildcard in game week 28. Free hit 31, bench boost 32, and triple captain 35. Yeah, I mean, that is a way you could go, because then you get to use your triple captain and your bench boost in the bigger double game weeks. But obviously, triple captain can only be used on one player. And also, that's a long, your wildcard in game week 28, and you want that team to be able to do you in the double game weeks in 7 weeks later. Now, obviously, you'll have free transfers from your wildcard up until the double game week. But 7 weeks is a long time in FPL. So that's why I quite like the free hit first and go that way. After the defeat in the cup this week, Aubameyang this game week is captain material over Salah. I'm not sure why losing to Man United makes him a better captain option than before. I mean, it's not like he was rested in that game or anything. I do think if you're gonna take a punt to try and outscore the Salah captainers, maybe Aubameyang versus Cardiff or even Lacazette if he's going to start, could be an option. What's my max double game week players for 25? I definitely won't go more than 4 because I'm not going to bring in another Everton player. Lucas Dean, look, I'm actually a little bit jealous of people that own Lucas Dean. Shame I got rid of Michael Keane, maybe. Be a little bit jealous of those that own Lucas Dean, but I'm not going to bring him in for that double because I don't think there's many points in that Man City game. So a max for me will be 4. Richarlison plus potentially 3 City, but I'll probably go with 3. How do you navigate the blanks if you free hit in the earlier double game week? Well, game week 31's looking like it might be quite easy to navigate just with the teams that... so, let me just see here. So game week 31, we've already got Liverpool going to play, Bournemouth, Leicester, obviously West Ham, if you've got Arnautovic, Anderson, whoever it might be. And then there's obviously a chance for the Arsenal game to go ahead still, if Wolves get knocked out. Because you've got to remember, these teams have got to get through the next round, not just this round. Cardiff versus Brighton could be on, obviously probably not going for too many players there. But it looks like there could be quite a few players in game week 31 to choose from. So you don't necessarily need a wild card for that. So it all depends how the games fall. Right now it's quite hard to say. For sure. But you could basically use all your transfers. Because you're going to free hit in game week 32 for the double game week. You can use all your transfers for game week 31 and 33 to make sure you can navigate those blanks. And then wildcard in 34 to get the second double game week team. If that makes sense. So Chelsea don't have a double in game week 25. They do not currently. There's a lot of speculation that it could get. Basically, before Brighton had to have a replay in the FA Cup, a lot of people were saying that Chelsea was more likely to get rearranged in game week 25 than Man City. And obviously then Pep said something about Everton and the fact that it might get pushed there. So that's what's happened. But because Brighton have a replay in the FA Cup, it's tough to give Chelsea that game in game week 25. Unless the striker is really nailed on, and I mean really nailed on, you won't captain a good forward over a really good midfielder because of the way the points are structured. Yeah, no, I agree with that. For the most part, if I'm torn between the striker and midfielder, I'll just choose the midfielder. Yeah, I think it's going to be a long stream of repeated questions about the double game week. How many players I'm bringing in and whatever. What else have we got? Son said he felt tired. I mean, I'm sure he has. A lot of travelling, a lot of games. I don't think it'll take long till he gets back in, though. Leicester and West Ham have amazing fixtures. I mean, West Ham, when we all got on Fabianski and Anderson and players like that, I mean, they've pretty much got a good run for most of the rest of the season. And we got them like 6-7 weeks ago. Leicester very good from about game week 27. I think Leicester have got really bad fixtures up until then. Let me just double check. So Leicester have Liverpool away, Man United at home, and Spurs away. It doesn't get much worse than Leicester's next 3 games. But then from game week 27, no blanks, and Palace, Brighton, Watford, Fulham, Burnley, Bournemouth, Huddersfield, Newcastle. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So game week 27, I'd be definitely looking at someone like Ricardo or maybe even Vardy if you've got a space for him. Is Kyle Walker an option in the double game week? The only thing with him is, I'm not sure if I'd be 100% he'd start both games. I don't know, if you look at his minutes played the last 2. I think he had where is it? Yeah, sorry, played the last 2, missed the previous 3, I think. Obviously had that little spell where he was just making a few mistakes, so I don't know if he's definitely nailed. Danilo could come in and play one of those games. Yeah, make sure if you haven't already, click on the little eye in the top right hand corner and vote on the polls. And while you're at it, hit the like button on the stream, much appreciated. Okay. Why aren't I worried about Alonso and Doherty starting next game week? I am a little bit worried. I'm more worried about Alonso. I think Doherty maybe, and there's a little worry there for Doherty. But I'm hoping his start in the FA Cup was basically to get minutes after having previously been dropped. I do think there is a little bit of worry there though, because Vinagre and Johnny were both benched, who both I think started the previous Premier League game. So a little bit worried. But basically, this week, Schindler and Wan-Bissaka can come off my bench, right? So if Alonso and Doherty are both benched, then those 2 can come in for me. There's basically no point worrying about it right now because I don't know 100%, and no one does if they've been dropped. Apart from the manager, of course. So I'm basically going to keep them this week. I think West Ham at home, Bournemouth away is fine for those 2 players, especially with the double game week next week and me wanting as many transfers as possible. So, of course, there's a bit of worry. I mean, Chelsea fans, we've been saying this. I mean, I've been talking about Alonso for ages about getting rid of him, just never really got around to it. Chelsea fans have wanted him out of the team for a long time. So I'm almost resigned to the fact he's gone next week. I think he's probably going to lose his place. Now, I don't know for sure. Sarri might decide that he wants his height in there, might decide that Emerson's not quite ready to play multiple Premier League games in a row, but there's a bigger worry for Alonso, that's for sure. Doherty, yeah, I'm there. I think Doherty. You have Rashford in your team. Should you bring in Pogba or Son? I mean, this week Pogba's probably the safer bet. They still got good fixtures, Man United. He's in really good form, penalties, and definitely going to start. A Gabriel Jesus straight red versus Newcastle would be nice. Aguero would be nailed. Very true. And I mean, this is why I like the thought of saving a transfer this week, because you basically get two free transfers and a lot of flexibility, and you have all the info you need before the next game week, or most of the info you need. Obviously, the game week 24 finishes on Wednesday night, and then you've only got Thursday, Friday, and then we're straight back in for double game week 25. So when will we stream that week? Oof, might have to skip the Sunday and Monday stream. We're basically going a bit. We're a bit all. There's 2. Yeah, we're all over the place basically with streams and videos. There's 2 Friday fixtures in game week 27. 2. When did that happen? What's the world coming to? Then we have another midweek game week coming up. Oh, I do love this time of the season. Yeah, so game week 25 is 2 days after game week 24. And then we have games we have Monday Liverpool game, and then Wednesday's obviously the double game week game. Then straight back in on Saturday with the Monday fixture, and then there's 2 games on Friday, and then there's another midweek game. So looking good. Lots of stuff to come. Scoutcast I think the Scoutcast is on Thursday. Is it good to structure your team with great midfielders rather than pretty strengths? Depends who you think is going to score the most points. I've personally gone for midfielders. That could change. Could go back to strikers. Deadline stream this Saturday. Nah, because it's an early game. I like it when there's no 12 o'clock game. Yeah, I like it when there's no 12 o'clock game. Will I take the risk of swapping Hazard for Sterling in game of 25? Maybe. Ask me again next week. Any more transfers likely to change your FPL team? The transfer window, January window, it's been pretty rubbish so far. Higuain, probably obviously the big high-profile name that's come in. There's not too many players being linked. There's Perisic to Arsenal, apparently. Idrissa Gueye, apparently Paris Saint-Germain want him. Obviously, that's someone going out, but could make the Everton defence worse if that happens. And then, yeah, that's about it, really. So, I don't know if there's any more transfers in that would really make me change my team. Oh, yeah, Cedric went, was it Inter Milan? So, yeah, I don't think there's much that can really sway me on my team. There'd have to be a very big transfer in the next couple of days, and I don't think that's likely to happen. Liverpool picking up Sandro from Brashik. No. Oh, Brashikia? Oh, I can't even pronounce it. And Rabiot to Spurs. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I don't know much about that Sandro guy. I mean, Rabiot's, I don't think is probably going to be someone I'd want for FPL. Maybe it'd make Spurs a better team overall. I feel like I know how to pronounce that team. And I've just completely messed it up. Obviously, we'll have to see when they happen as well. You'd expect most of a couple of those players not to necessarily jump straight in. Maybe for Spurs, if it happens. If I was top 1k, would I stick or gamble? Stick or gamble with what? I mean, you've still got to try and get your points. Other players in the top 1k will be going for points. Do I know my highest ever single game week score? No, probably like 105 or something like that. I don't know, just over 100. Not much more than that, I don't think. How come I've gone Doherty over Wan-Bissaka? Yes, it's probably a good question, actually. I'm just hoping for those sweet, sweet attacking returns and maybe a clean sheet. Arguably, though, you're probably right. I should play Wan-Bissaka. He's been so good. Predictions from Gorav. Huddersfield versus Everton. I think Huddersfield will be tough to score against. We'll really regret. Basically, what's going to happen is we're going to keep Richarlison because of that fixture in the double, and he's going to not do anything. I don't know, I just got a feeling Huddersfield are going to be really tight there, and Everton's going to struggle to break them down. So I think that will be a tight one. Will they keep a clean sheet, Huddersfield? I'm gonna let Everton have 1 goal. 1-1, something like that. 2-1 maybe, Huddersfield. Wolves versus West Ham. I mean, that could be quite open. I think Wolves will really go for it. I think that's a definite winnable fixture. So a home win. Wolves not keeping many clean sheets. 2-1. Isn't that what Mark Lawrenson does? Just says 2-1 to everything. So Fulham versus Brighton, 2-1. I think Fulham could do really well there. But Brighton don't concede that many, though. So I might just say 2-1 again. I don't know. Fulham, I think Fulham could do well, but Brighton just don't concede that many goals. That's the problem. Southampton versus Palace. Now that one could have goals in it. Evening, John. Man City keeper for the double game week. Look, if you've got the money, could be decent. Obviously, you'd have to have a backup keeper, though, for game week 27. Robert, thanks for the donation, my man. Gundogan and De Bruyne will score all the goals. Oh, can you imagine? That's what's gonna. I hate that when that happens. You got like all these double game week excitement, all this double game week excitement. You have like Sané, Sterling, Aguero, and then Gundogan pops up with a goal from like I don't know a Laporte assist or something. Taking hits to play Pep roulette is surely not worth it. So here's one thing to consider though, right? So obviously it is Chelsea in a blank after that. Then they got a pretty good run of fixtures. They got in game week 28 onwards. They got West Ham, Bournemouth, Watford. They're Man United away, tough. But then Fulham, Cardiff, Palace. So they've got pretty nice fixtures from game week 28 onwards. And you will want them for the double game week. So if you've not got chips and stuff, then they could still be worth going for. Obviously, they probably will get through in the FA Cup, so they could blank in game week 31 and 33. But the game week 31 fixture is Man United, so probably not that big a deal anyway. So I don't know. I think I would probably limit the hits as much as you can. But I don't know if, like, especially the other thing to take into account, especially if you've got no Man City players, is you will captain them, and I think that makes the hit a little bit easier to swallow. So I think like a -4 for Sané or Sterling, I'm not against that personally. But you're right. I mean, Pep Roulette could play a part, and it could just be absolutely devastating. You have reminded me though, Robert. Let's do the quick shout out for the patrons while we're here, and I remember it. So thanks to the producers: Dean P, Madcheck, Gaz H, Melissa B, Ryan TOB, Robert P, who just asked that question, Matthew H, Hayden H, Christopher M, and Scott S. If you want to check out the Patreon page, it's down below. Support the stream, help improve it. There is going to be a new league in February, set up specifically, codes handed out in February, and the winner of or whoever gets obviously the highest score and comes top of the league gets $50, and then there'll be a new one for March, etc. And there's also access to the Discord channel and stuff like that. So if you want to check that out, you've got to be signed up before February 1st once the payment goes out to get in the league. Then make sure to go and check that out. Link is in the description below. How many likes on the video to triple captain Schindler? Oh, probably 500,000. What's up, Illusions? I think Danilo will be the surprise player. He's been used a lot recently and may continue to do so as it helps Russ Walker. If Mendy plays and plays left back when Mendy gets a rest. That's what I was saying about Walker. He hasn't necessarily been used week in, week out. And Danilo has played last 5. So I think that could be a bit of a punt. Let's see what happens next week. See what the news is with Mendy. But 0.8% ownership, 5.1. I do think that's a nice shout. Nice shout from Super Tiger. I mean, if Mendy's out, you'd expect him to keep playing. Brighton's fixtures are insane. I know, but on the one hand, they're really good. On the other hand, it's Brighton. You know what I mean? Sorry, Brighton fans. Do Sterling and Sané play 90 minutes both games? I would find that highly unlikely. Swap button for Fabianski. Isn't Ryan back now, though? Predictions for top scoring player from each position this season. I actually did a video on that pre-season, and I chose Ederson for goalkeeper, mostly because I didn't want to pick another, because I chose Robertson for defender. I didn't want to also pick Alisson for goalie. Salah for midfielder, and Aubameyang for striker. Super Tiger basically said that he thinks Danilo could be the one to go for in the Man City backline. Yeah, Man City are playing a lot of fixtures. Mendy's back from injury, but apparently he's had a bit of swelling in his knee. So it doesn't look like he'd be back as quick as you might have thought. Anderson to Sané or save the transfer. I'd probably save one more week. Don't forget to vote on the polls. Top right hand corner. Click that little eye. We'll go through them in a minute. If you get 100 points this game, would you do a puppet celebration on stream? Probably not. No, but I would be very happy. Edison or Pickford worth considering given they're most likely playing 180 minutes. I mean, I'd probably go for Edison. I think Man City in general get better clean sheet potential and really decent enough fixtures going forward. But he will blank a couple more times probably. It's the only problem. Do I eat taters? I had some potatoes today. The ridged ones. Can't remember what they're called now. Ripples. The Thai sweet chili. Lovely. If a double game week keeper gets 2 saves in one match and 1 save the next, does it count 1+1? No, they have to get the save in the same. Have to get the saves in the same match. Update on Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't think there has been one. He did post on Instagram or something like that. It didn't look great for him. Didn't sound like he was going to be back this week, but let's see what Klopp says, I guess. You got 2 free transfers. Use one to transfer Hazard to sell and carry the other to next week. Hazard to sell. I don't know if this is the week to get rid of Hazard. Obviously, it's hard to say about seeing the rest of your team, but I'd be tempted to keep Hazard. But Son, obviously, not a bad replacement if he's going to play. Thoughts on Ings short term? Jesus, Danny Ings. I can't even remember what Southampton's fixtures are like. Let's have a look. Palace at home, Burnley away, and Cardiff at home. I mean, sure, they look decent enough. I suppose, again, as always, depends who you're replacing. Decent ownership, though. And I think in those next 3 fixtures, there's goals there. Obviously, he's on penalties as well. So, yeah, decent enough transfer. If you've got nothing better to do, why not? Trippier misses penalty. Yeah, imagine if we thought Trippier was on penalties. Obviously, once Kane's back, he'd definitely be off them again. But yeah, that would have been an interesting one. Everyone in FPL land loves a defender that takes penalties. Nothing better. Remember when I think Charlie Daniels was on penalties for a while for Bournemouth. That was good. Sorry, it's so warm in here. Ooh. Need to click the off button for the stream. Jesus Christ. Much better. Keep yourself Felipe Anderson. I'd be tempted to keep this week. I mean, Wolves don't keep many clean sheets. I know since Arnautovic is back, he's maybe not been quite as good as he had been, but I don't know. I'd be tempted to hold him and give him one more game. What am I thinking with Jesus and Aguero? I just think I mean, I think Sané and Sterling are the best options for the double, and I'm not even sure they're going to start both games. Aguero and Jesus, too risky, I think. Oh, excuse me. His son isn't on the pitch. Feel like Pochettino will give Trippier another chance. I mean, I don't think Eriksen was on the pitch, right? So what if Eriksen's on the pitch? Maybe he'll get a chance. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, once Kane's back, although that is a little while away, Trippier's never going to be on penalties. Keep Richarlison. I think yes, personally. Got to keep him for that double game week now. Alright, let's do the polls. You got like 30 more seconds to vote on them if you haven't already. We'll get them read out. I'll obviously have lots of double game week questions. It's going to be the same next week, so I'll probably stream Wednesday or Thursday. Kind of just go from there. Obviously, I might stream on Wednesday straight after the games. Might mix it up this week instead of Thursday, maybe. Everyone's sleeping on shore. Yeah, I mean, basically this time of the season, like I said earlier in the stream, people get tunnel vision, myself included, on double game week players and stuff like that, and they forget about players like Shaw. I mean, I don't know. I'm not fully confident about Man United clean sheets just yet, but I mean, he did play really well against Arsenal in the FA Cup. So yeah, I think the fixtures are there for some clean sheets, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's just worth spending a transfer on right now. Stream the last 15 minutes of games. Yeah, I might stream towards the end of the games. But to be honest, people don't want to watch generally for that. But we'll see. See what time it is. All right, let's do these polls. Okay, how many double game week players are you aiming for? So maybe I should have split these out a bit better. But 3 to 4 is 63%. I think obviously that's probably what most people will do. 1 to 2 Everton, and then 2 to 3 Man City. 1 to 2 double game week players, 28%. 6% of you apparently aiming for 5 to 6, and only 6 people going for 0. Your game week 24 captain. I mean, it's basically Salah. 81% for Salah. 10% for going for Aubameyang. That's the differential captain choice. 3% for Pogba and Rashford. Again, another little nice differential. Only 2% for Man City and 3% for someone else. Are Man City worth using triple captain on in game week 25? 71% of you saying no. Interesting. That's quite a high against. Obviously, it's Arsenal at home, Everton away. And then obviously 29% saying yes, it's okay to use it for that. And are you looking at Higuain? 50% of you are interested soon enough, with 47% just not interested at all. And then about 11 people buying this week. So not too much love for Higuain just yet. But get a brace or a hat-trick in your first game. That could soon change with Huddersfield at home. De Bruyne is looking like he's getting back in form. Why are you not looking at him? Like for me, I don't know if I'm... I don't know. I mean, I can say this for all Man City players. I'm not confident they're going to start. But he has been... he's kind of been... What's the word I'm looking for? Like basically put back into the team slowly since his injury. He hasn't been... Because you remember last season, he played like week in, week out, 90 minutes, running all over the place, pressing all over the pitch. Whereas he's kind of come in sporadically. So he had 28 minutes against Wolves, just looking now, 90 against Huddersfield. So let's see if he starts against Newcastle. But I don't know. I'd just be worried about him starting both games. And I know, again, Sané and Sterling, same thing could happen. But I feel like one of those two will start both. Not sure which, though. Apparently he had a little fallout with Pep. Maybe you'll punish him. But yeah, I might actually... Because I'll actually be going to the gym on Wednesday. So what I might do is set the stream up before I go, if I can. And then come back and put the stream on, not knowing what I've scored on Wednesday. Because that'll be... Obviously, I'll have some players on Tuesday playing. But on Wednesday, I'll have Alonso or benched, Hazard, Salah, captain, Robertson. And that's it, actually. Only 4 players. That kind of sucks, actually. But anyway, might do that anyway. We'll see. Gains over points. I don't know. Do love a good points. Well, it wouldn't be... it wouldn't really be the match today challenge quite... But similar. Similar enough. I did that once before, just revealed my team on stream, not knowing the points. Not cool. I don't think it went well at all. How's Jim going? Jim is going good. Really got kick in now. The food's back to being good. The gym's tough, but it's good. Always like it when I go. I hate getting there. Like the thought of going sucks, and then once I'm there, it's good. Once I finish, I feel great. Would I rather Liverpool or Spurs with the title? I guess Spurs. Don't really care either way. I think it'd be nice of Spurs. They're not going to though. Not this season. How many points? Yeah, I've answered loads of questions now about double game week players. I think best thing to do is probably rewatch the stream. But Probably looking at 3 to 4 double game week players. Definitely 2, because I already own 2. I definitely won't transfer them out because, well, it wouldn't be crazy, but I'm not going to do it. Thoughts on Mane, Liverpool triple up. I like it. I will say, no blanks. I think, obviously, Trent being out has kind of made me rethink the double up in defence because Van Dijk's quite expensive. So I like the Mane triple up, to be honest. Again, the blanks and doubles, the doubles especially, have kind of put a kibosh on getting rid of kind of Sané for him right now. But yeah, I quite like that idea. Watch Match of the Day on Wednesday on stream. Yeah, but it'll be on quite late. I'll just stream and check my points. I'm not going to watch Match of the Day. Don't think it'll be that interesting. Plus, I probably wouldn't be able to stream it. What would I go for Jesus? I just think him and Aguero, you just don't know. It's too much of a risk for me. Aguero could start both games. They could start one each. I don't know. Maybe if you've got a premium spot taken up by someone else, you can easily swap to Jesus with one transfer, possibly. But you know, if Aguero starts both games, do you think Aguero will start the Arsenal game? You know, they're going to put out their best team for that game, and then it's just how many can survive for the Everton game, really. Isn't Match of the Day a different time now? No, you get you get BBC. Not a problem. Not a problem. Right. I'm going to leave it there. I think at this point we're just probably going to go round in circles with the double game week questions. We talked loads about that. I've got a whole video about it as well if you want to watch that. Like I said, if you want to check out the Patreon stuff, it's in the link in the description below. And if you want to get in for that league in February, check out the different tiers there are. Then there's that $50 prize for the winner in February. And then there'll be another one in March, another one in April, as long as you're kind of signed up every month. And also you get access to the Discord channel and stuff like that to chat with the community about FPL. So yeah, check out the Patreon link